Big Mike and Hayes Entertainment here. Today's episode, we got the Chris Buck Band. If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button.
Hey guys, this is Chris Buck of the Chris Buck Band. I Only Touch Greatness, the podcast. Check it out.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
And it's getting late. Everybody's going down to the lake. Maybe some moonlight, maybe some moonshine. I bet it's gonna be a hell of a time. I don't mind leaving this party tonight for a little bit of love and some candlelight. So leave your light on, play a love song. I'm on my way, baby, waiting all night long. I wanna love you the way you want to. I'm coming on to you, baby, leave your light on.
This is I Only Touch Greatness podcast with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike. We
Chris, how's it
are
going?
going live.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep. Thank you very much for taking your time for us today and coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. Do you want the camera this way or the other way?
Other way would be nice. Yeah,
Perfect.
better for us. Thanks.
Okay, sweet.
So
Sweet.
I'm Ryan, by the way. This is Big Mike.
I recognize him. Yeah, how you doing?
Good, man.
And
Awesome.
for me, I play hockey with Mancini.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Man's weenie. Yeah.
I told him today that we had you coming on, and I guess he called you and talked to you too today.
Yeah. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate it.
Wow, what made you get into country music in the first place?
Say that one more time.
What made you get into country music in the first place?
Well, I grew up listening to country music as a kid, and I just remember my dad always having it on the radio and stuff like that. And I listened to it as a kid, and then kind of like through high school, as I got older, I didn't really listen to too much country. And then around 19, I started running my own karaoke gigs in the Lower Mainland. I entered a few contests, and I sang a couple country tunes, and they were like, your voice sounds very country. I don't know why. And I said, oh, okay. And then started singing it really just from friends and people saying I sounded country. So yeah, that's how it kind of started.
Awesome. And what made you form the band, or how did it all come together?
It was just, I guess when I turned 19, I just wanted to be cool, and playing a band on the weekend. So I just rounded up a bunch of guys and started learning cover songs. And before you knew it, we're playing 7 days a week at all the local bars, and did that for 7 years. And yeah, it was good memories. Definitely glad I don't do it anymore. I guess you can't do it anymore technically because of COVID. So kind of maybe I retired at the right time from the bar scene. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you're from Vancouver and you're currently residing in Nashville, correct?
I'm actually not from Vancouver. I actually grew up in Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Barrie, Ontario, Midland, Penetangwisheen area. Moved out to Vancouver just before high school, and now I'm actually up in Canada right now. I came back because of I'm family pressure wanted me to return home because of it's not looking so good down in the States right now. So
Yeah.
I'm back up actually in Cloverdale right now, and it's good to be. I'm proud to be Canadian. It's good to be back.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's scary down there right now, that's for sure.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
It's a good question. I definitely like all the American Pie movies growing up. Those are now they're like old movies now to some of the younger kids, but I always liked those ones growing up. The football movie Rudy, really liked that one. It's a cool movie, very inspirational. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
What was the biggest transition for you going from obviously here to Nashville?
I think going down to Nashville, it kind of wakes you up as an artist because everyone's so talented, and you're kind of just another person down there where you can get a little intimidating where you're like, holy man, like my waiter is better than me at singing and playing guitar. It's like So at the end of the day, I like writing songs, and it's a good place for me because I consider myself a songwriter. But just being an artist down there, it's tough. I'm just lucky that I've gotten in rooms with guys that have written big songs, and it's been pretty cool.
I hear you're a big Canucks fan as well.
I'm a big Canucks fan. I'm also a big Leafs fan. I shouldn't be saying that right now as well. I'm kind of divided in the middle. But my prediction is I think the Canucks are going to get a cup in the next 3 years. And the reason I say that is because the Canucks kind of remind me of like a real young Blackhawks team right now, where they got the flashy D-man. They've got the offense, but the third and fourth line too is exciting because they've got the depth, they've got the speed, they've got the grit, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they knocked off St. Louis, to be honest.
I agree. We looked really good that last series, and I mean, like, for someone that's like kind of underrated, I say Tyler Mott was probably our second best player that whole entire series.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the depth on the team is really, really, it's like I know a lot of my friends who were Canucks fans, the Bieksa and Kessler and, that area at the Sedins, a lot of fans, I think, drifted away for a bit there where they're like, they were so heartbroken from the Boston series. And me too. I was like, I'm done with this. You get so emotionally invested in something that's just a game. But then, now you see these young kids coming up, especially Quinn Hughes. You watch that guy, and it's like, holy smokes, man. He's like a little Bobby Orr, like ripping around the ice, It's like, it gets you excited again. So it's nice to see that in Vancouver.
Yeah, I've never seen a defenseman like Quinn Hughes in our lifetime. Of course, he's amazing to watch. And then you have Petey, and you still have Besser. Like, I'm a ticket holder with the Canucks, so I wanted to buy the tickets so I could see this cup run in the next 3 years, like you're saying. So I 100% agree with that. One of the questions we even asked Kelly Rudy was who would win a cup first, Pettersson or McDavid? And I still say Pettersson.
Yeah, well, the Oilers, man, jeez. I got a lot of Oilers. I got a lot of friends that are Oilers fans, and I'm just like, oh man, like, get that many first round picks. It's a little. Yeah. Oof.
That's for sure, and I'm super happy they did not get the first round pick today, or the first overall pick. Sorry.
Yeah, I did. Even if the Penguins got it, would have been a little weird seeing those two teams. Yeah.
Did you play any sports? Obviously, I'm pretty sure you played hockey, right?
Yeah, I played hockey growing up. Played, I guess, back east, and then played, I guess, AAA all the way up. And here, played for Team BC when I was 16, got a scholarship for Michigan State, or a couple offers when I was 16 for hockey, and wanted to do some tryout stuff. And I had a couple bad concussions, and that's where I kind of went into more like the music land. I was a tinier guy, and like the era I played in, it was a lot rougher than it was now. Like nowadays, the guys are fast and quick, and it's a little more a quicker game. When I played, it was just like everyone taking everyone's head off. You know what I mean? It was a totally different game, and I just got to a point where it was just I think getting a couple concussions, it kind of ended it for me, where I just kind of got sick of just feeling that way, So, but yeah, I played up. I played for the Richmond Sockeyes there for a few years at the end, and that was about it. That was as far as it ended up going. So, but at least got to play some competitive hockey. So,
yeah, I love to crash and bang. Andrew will account to that. He's usually on my line when a line brawl happens. So I'm out there. I'm out there causing shit in beer league hockey. 5 feet tall, hitting people, and I got Andrew there backing me up. So.
That's the reason I can't play beer league. Every time I'm out there, I'm like, man, I'm just out here for fun, dude. Like, I gotta get on the road tomorrow. Yeah. But it's hard saying that too, because you get that competitive juice runs through you before you know it. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm chirping again, like. Oh yeah. It's funny. Yeah.
I heard you're a Mark Sanchez fan too.
That's wrong. That is very incorrect. I don't know where you got that information from.
Yeah. You know who I got that from.
Oh, geez. I'll have to give him a hard time for that. No, definitely not a Mark Sanchez fan. That's for sure.
Okay. Who are your biggest influences in your life?
I wouldn't say I have like really anything that influences me. I think just as I get older, I get a little more grateful for realizing things that come in your life that are cool, rather like when you're younger. You know, like a few years ago, I was walking the carpet at the Canadian Country Music Awards, and everything was happening so fast. And it was like 2 years ago, and then it was over like this, and I didn't even get a chance to enjoy it because sometimes you're caught in it, and you're just like, as like things happen now, you know, where I'm like, how much work it takes to get to that level. I think I appreciate things, and just the fact, you know, that I'm surviving during this, you know, from like songwriting royalties and stuff like that is pretty amazing, you know, because I know a lot of artists are struggling really bad out there right now, especially with not being able to play any music or any shows, and kind of look at it a little differently. You know, you got to just take things for granted, or don't take things for granted, I should say, and just appreciate the little things. Because when you're younger, especially in music, I talk to some friends, it's like, oh man, I can't wait to be famous and play in front of 20,000 people and feel like a rock star. And yeah, that is cool. But as you get older, it doesn't mean as much. It's like the survival almost means more, where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going, grinding this out. You know, it's like whether there's 5 people at your show or 30,000 people, you're still doing a show and, you know, putting a show on. See, I think I just look at things a little differently. Yeah.
What would be your dream venue to perform at?
I think a hometown show, Rogers Arena, Vancouver, would be really cool. Got that on the bucket list. I've done the Commodore a couple times now, and obviously I've done Rock and River and Sunfest and stuff. But I think, you know, the goal is to play Rogers Arena. Yeah.
Sweet. Who are some people you guys look up to in the music world?
I've always looked up to Keith Urban just because I feel like he's a good dude, and he goes back with my family a little bit. He's helped out over the years, and really look up to that guy. Another guy I've really looked up to as a performer would be a local guy named Aaron Prechette. I remember sneaking in, watching him at Roosters when I was underage back in the day, and and he's such a good performer, and I've really never forgot the way he's performed. So I'd say those two guys.
Yeah, we all loved Roosters back in the day.
Yeah.
I was more of a Boone County guy, but yeah.
That's way back.
Oh, yeah. You won the 2014 BCCMA Award for Country Act of the Year. And then in 2015, you won the Country Club Act of the Year and Group Duo of the Year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been nice having the peers in this province vote for me. Over the years, I think the album of the year was the year before, and that was a big one for me. I was up against some huge artists, so it's nice people took the time and listened to my music. And last year, which really helped out with the transition to Nashville, was I won a songwriting award as well, Songwriter of the Year. So as I get older, I do like being a performer. I do like being an artist, but I've really put a lot of my focus into writing, not only for myself but for a lot of other bands, and it's been really cool. I've been getting lots of cuts by, you know, various artists across Canada, and I never saw myself, you know, doing well at songwriting, considering I, you know, barely passed English 11 and 12 in high school. So it's kind of funny that I'm doing that, but it's funny how the music industry can kind of lead you in different paths.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got so many good songs too. Like I Pump on the Daily, Leave Your Light On, Redneck and Giddy Up, Good Old Days. You have a favorite of yours?
Yeah, I do. It's not even a song I ever released to radio. It's the song. Now, why am I drawing a blank here? No Tomorrow is the song I've always really liked, and I never released it, but I always just felt it's just a personal one I thought was cool. Yeah.
And you've obviously worked with so many great artists. Some of my favorites are obviously Luke Combs, Dallas Smith, Megan Patrick, Willie Nelson. Have you had a chance to meet or hang out with any of them?
I lived with Megan for a bit in Nashville, so we were roommates. So for a couple months, so I got to get to know her pretty good. I haven't hung out with Luke Combs, but I got to hang out with his band, and I've wrote with his band a few times as well. Okay. I personally haven't met him, but I've written with both his guitar players. Great guys, you know, they've written some big songs. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I guess almost met him.
What about friends of the show?
We had Aaron Goodwin on. We've had Sons of Daughters and Tebe.
Nice. Yeah, I'm good friends with all of them. Very good friends. Jimmy from Sons of Daughters. We're working on some projects. He's probably got my next single I wrote with him coming out hopefully pretty soon. We're just getting everything together. And then Tebe's a really, really nice guy. Got to know him really well. Hung out with him a bunch in Nashville. He's got a super nice family as well. So yeah, the scene, the Canadian country scene is pretty tight knit down Nashville, which is cool. We kind of try to help each other out.
What artist, dead or alive, would you choose to perform with if you could?
I'd say Johnny Cash, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if I ever. Yeah, it's too bad I didn't get a chance to catch him. So I'd say, yeah, Johnny Cash.
Okay. What kind of hobbies you got?
To be honest, right now since COVID, I've been really addicted to the Catan board game. I don't know if you guys settlers of Catan.
I've heard of it. My buddies play.
I was just like, I can't play this nerdy game, and now we're buying all the pieces online and getting in tiffs with your friends. I'm like, this game ruins friendships, man. That's what it does. It's like I've been doing that, and I guess just writing a lot of songs, and I like to go for some hikes, and that's about it. Yeah.
Do you have a personal highlight or low light?
Say that one more time.
Do you have a personal highlight or low light?
Wow, I've had the music industry, the highs and lows are all the time. Like, I think the hard part is like when it is low, trying to get out of it and staying focused. Because when the lows are low, they're really low, and the highs are really high. I guess the high would have been getting nominated for a Canadian Country Music Award and walking the green carpet, and people knowing who you were. It was kind of a little surreal, where you're like, whoa, this is crazy. And then the lows, like, you write a whole whack of songs and you send them out sometimes to radio and stuff, and they're just like, nah, we don't like it. And then you're all like stoked on it. You're like, what? This is like the best one I ever wrote. And then you throw another one out and they're like, it's charting. It's like, what? It's just like, it's just throwing it against the wall and seeing what's going to stick. And,
yeah.
And I think, coming off, that top 20 single with Kira, the next single I put out, I don't even think charted. So like that going from like up here, then down to being like, is that it? Like, is it over now?
Yeah.
Like it kind of can play with your mind a little bit.
Did you have a favorite sports hero growing up?
Sports hero. When I was a kid, I really loved, I hate to say this actually now, since you guys are hockey fans, when I was living in, not Mark Sanchez. When I was living in Ontario, I really liked Brett Hull and Adam Oates and the St. Louis Blues. I had all the St. Louis jerseys. When I'm talking, I was young, during the Hull Oates era. And I always used to watch all their games all the time. And it's funny now that the Canucks are against St. Louis. I'm definitely not rooting for St. Louis. But when I was a kid, I had the Brett Hull jersey and the Adam Oates jersey and stuff like that, yeah.
What would we find in your playlist?
A little bit of everything, to be honest. People think I just listen to country. I do listen, obviously, to a lot of country, but I listen to I listen to a lot of stuff, to be honest. I can't say one thing. It's all over the place. Like, I appreciate all genres of music. I'll say that in a certain way. I appreciate it on the mood. Yeah.
Okay.
So who inspired you as a young artist?
As a young artist, I say Alan Jackson, just because I sang a lot of his stuff in karaoke. Keith Urban, as I mentioned earlier, Johnny Cash. Just really enjoyed listening to them. I think those three probably.
Who, kind of in the music industry helped you get to the next level or kind of open the door for you?
There's been so many people, I wouldn't say, but definitely my producer. I met him at Starbucks in Port Moody. And within 2 months of knowing him, we got our first top 40 on the radio, and his name's Jeff Johnson. And I've wrote pretty much every song with him since then. So I think he got me, I guess, to that level. And I also had a radio promoter guy. I don't know if I'm going to share his name on here because he kind of keeps on the down low, but he really believed in my music too and helped me get my songs on the radio when I was starting out.
Do you ever listen to any of your old songs?
I do now. I never used to. It's weird. Like when I was younger, I'd be like my aunts and uncles and then my friends would play it all the time, thinking it was like a good, like they were being good friends. And really, I'm like, dude, I really don't want to hear my songs. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, I don't like listening to myself. I don't want to listen to it. I know you're excited, but like, I'd rather not. But like in the last few months, like my girlfriend started listening to a bunch of my songs, and she's like, "This song's so cool, the words here," and I'm like, I like forget about it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, forgot I wrote that," and then I go back and listen. I'm like, "Damn, that's actually pretty good." Like, so it's like kind of weird. Like I never have done that before because I'm always thinking of the next thing. Yeah.
Do you have any song of yours that makes you cringe?
Of mine?
Yeah. Or any song you hear. The question is, have you heard a song? Is there a song that makes you cringe?
No, I wouldn't say that. Even if I was, I would say it anyways. But it's not one I could think of. The one thing I don't like really hearing is like sometimes I feel like people are writing to sound like everybody else just because they know it works. So being an artistic person, you try to think outside the box. So whenever I feel like I write something that's different and really cool, I find that it never really works. It doesn't stick. It's more like if I write something that kind of sounds familiar to something, people are like, "That's it, man." So as an artist, it can kind of ruin your soul a little bit where you're like, "Oh man, like I just want to experiment and go crazy on this." But I think, if you get to a certain level, maybe in your career you can start doing that. Like guys who've actually made it can try different stuff. But like for me, I just try to like kind of pigeonhole it as much as I can down the middle for listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the best part of being on a major compared to a independent label?
Well, that's a great question for anyone out there. There's a lot of difference with that. Obviously, the major labels have a lot more money behind it, and a lot more pull, and they're really banking that people will gravitate to that artist because at the end of the day, if you're not having sales and you're on a big deal, you're not gonna be on that deal very long. As for an indie one, they'll give you a little more wiggle room. I think there's a little more room to negotiate. I don't want to get into it too much, but there are pros and cons of signing major and smaller deals. It's all what works best for your situation, because I know a lot of artists that have big deals, and I know they're still living at home in their parents' basement. So I don't, I don't know the exact details, but I know you get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Make sure you know what you're doing, because before you know it, especially when you're young, you're like, "Oh wow," you see all the stars and lights and stuff, and you can, you might sign something and be heard, but you might be struggling financially for a few years until that deal comes to an end. Yeah.
What's your go-to drink or drink of choice?
I got one right here. I like the old White Claws.
Okay.
Started drinking those in Nashville, but I know they're up in Canada now and they've been going big. But from what I heard, it's actually a Canadian guy that owns this company.
Oh, really?
Kind of ironic. Yeah, it's not even an American guy who owns it. Apparently, he owned a bunch of other drink companies up here, sold them, and then started branding in the U.S. and then he brought it back up to Canada. That's what I understand. I don't know, but someone was telling me it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, cool." But yeah, really big in the South. White Claws are really big in the South. Yeah.
Okay. The Pink Whitney still blowing up down there too?
I'm not too sure what that is. What's the Pink Whitney?
Pink Whitney vodka. Ryan Whitney and Paul Bissonnette, they came out with like their own vodka. It's been like going nuts on the shelves here.
From Spittin' Chicklets.
Oh, okay.
It's a sports podcast.
Okay.
It's a competition. We don't need to name drop them in our shit.
Hey, Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, and might have to drop in and watch you guys play some hockey sometime.
Yeah, you should.
I'll be chirping Mancini the whole game. I'll be chirping his name.
Perfect.
Hey, that's awesome.
Hey guys, this is Chris Buck of the Chris Buck Band. I Only Touch Greatness, the podcast. Check it out.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you so much, bud. Really appreciate
no problem,
it.
guys.
And be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Have a good day.